soon.
Yeah.
And this is my last question. I attended the various meetings of planning, actually one on the Great South Bay Distillery, which is, I think, a good thing that's coming to the village. There was comment from a member of the public about enforcement stipulations that the planning board and the zoning. In fact, I'm sure I think I talked to maybe Lori and to Susan about this. I myself have come into a situation where I see that stipulations don't seem to be migrating down to the housing department for housing officers to actually know about. So when they're issuing COs, they take them into account. Is that, and one of the planning board members agreed that might be occurring.
At times it does, but we've had discussions with the planning board of Peter Sarish and making sure, even though it all happens inside that office,
Right.
you know, sometimes it doesn't get to the people, the enforcement side of it. I think we're better at it now, but it had been a problem, and I think you're right, it had been a problem.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, it's a problem as recently just several months ago. I know about, I do.
No, I don't disagree with you at all.
So, you know, I worked in the civil service, I worked for Suffolk County, so I know that papers, decisions here, decisions there, sometimes they don't match. But they're so important because, you know, you have a resident coming saying, all
The
right,
quality of life thing.
we want the quality of life things, and the
Yeah.
planning board says, yeah, you're gonna get them, but then, you know, there's a institutional lapse,
Yeah.
and they don't get them.
Well, you, as the mayor, instituted for the first time ever in our history that a violation of a planning board covenant would be actually something that you'd actually be issued a ticket on.
Yeah.
But before, that never existed. So you proposed that legislation to enforce that, and this board approved it,
And we were able to go back.
and to enforce stipulation.
But I think there's something a little bit more fundamental, right? So I'm not gonna go into the exact instance. If you wanna know, I'll tell you exactly who's involved, but a CO is granted for a business. The officer knows nothing about the various stipulations that are granted. You know, even before getting to that point about rescinding things, you know, about the very foundation point, you know, don't open the doors until everything's been done. I think that's the preventive strategy, so we don't get into a very ugly scene.
Yep.
They're trying to take a person's business away. You know, it's.
Well, I understand exactly. Because I try to frustrate myself sometimes when people come up like yourself and say, this happened. You know, I was looking back in the minutes and I saw that there was a covenant. Why did it happen? And you get me sitting here looking like a dope because it didn't happen because I didn't make sure it happened. You know, so I agree with you. And it's something that we have to be vigilant about, that we sometimes forget about.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just bringing it up because I think it's a current and relevant issue and just.
It's a very relevant issue.
Okay.
It absolutely is, because it is about quality of life. Most covenants that are put in place, when you look at them, it is about quality of life, neighbors, you know, and those types of things.
Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.